Disruptor. Like, I don't know what, like, Red 2, Nico, he plays a ton of the Void Spirit, but I just don't know what he hopes to accomplish this game against the threat of a Static Storm really early, a Sonic Wave that can kill him. Snowball is, you know, kind of just tears him apart. Not really the tankiest of heroes, especially early. Yeah, it's a little scary for sure.
Yeah, it's just not the draft I would go in for simply TOOBASED. But, you know, maybe they can pull off. I do like that they have Paradise on Timber side. Like I said, I don't like when he's playing those more passive offlaners. He seemed to really struggle, so glad they changed that. Nico on the mid lane he's been a boss in every game he's played. Yeah, they haven't been winning, but that doesn't mean he's played badly. He's been playing very well. Just hasn't been able to sort of get the team the victory. Well, there is a lot of like physical damage on Alpha for the late game. It's good to have the Lich in that situation. So that's kind of nice. You put that on the PA. You know, you remove a lot of Monkey King's damage through the evasion and through the damage reduction. But feels like Viper and Queen of Pain will still be a problem.
Yeah, that is true. The damage block is pretty serious. It's still 70%, 60%. Pardon.
I think there's a 10% talent, yeah, at level 10.
That's what it is.
That's kind of crazy though. Like that. I mean, the other talent's what, like 125 Frost Blast, AOE, and damage or something like that. That's crazy. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, they're strong talents. I mean, I guess Lich needed something early after they removed his sacrifice. He kind of, I mean, I want to say we saw him like one patch really when there's lots of physical damage early, and he would just go for the Frost Shield. But it's been a while really since I've seen a whole lot of this hero, as Flea is gonna tap him a couple of times.
It's like I remember sacrifice was removed like what, like 5 or 6 or 4 years ago. It's kind of crazy how before that there was an ability to just remove a lane creep, and you know, every time a creep shows up, you're like, alright, I'll just take this one away.
Oh man, there's still Eidolons, right? That's not the same thing.
It's like a minute cooldown now, though. So.
I mean, it wasn't for the longest time. It used to be what, like 35-second cooldown level 1. That used to be ridiculous.
Well, bottom lane is going to be Disruptor as well as the Monkey King. That's kind of annoying. Like, Disruptor with the slow is pretty effective. Yeah, the Monkey King on top, you should be able to do pretty well in this lane for the Monkey King.
Yeah, and Afro and really TOOBASED as an extension, really one of the only teams, at least in any Div 2, that's really consistently running this Marcy. It's one of their go-to picks. If they don't like to do this DK Lina stuff in the off lane, they'll usually try and get away with like a Marcy pick. As we had an early pause.
I was doing some, like, you know, I was writing a little bit about Marcy this week, and I think that she's out of all the regions, the second most successful region she's in is North America, where she's something like 8 wins out of 11 picks in Division 1, so she's really doing well in the region. And they all kind of need her to do that. Can you actually throw people out kinetic field with the Dispose?
It's a good question. So the thing about how kinetic field works composed to most of the things, I'm trying to think here, right? Because you stop moving in a Dispose if you are stuck by some kind of forced movement. And the way that kinetic field works is that you can't move through it if you're facing the wall, right?
Yes.
There used to be that bug with Halberd, for example. It's not really a bug, right? Because it's just how the ability is coded. Where if you, not Halberd, with Hurricane Pike, where if you Hurricane Pike an enemy, and you would force staff yourself out of a kinetic field backwards.
Okay, I get it.
So I don't know, actually. I think it might depend on the direction the Dispose target is facing. I assume Marcy cannot rebound out of it for those reasons. But I can't be sure. This is not really an interaction I've seen a whole lot of. We're not seeing a ton of Disruptor.
No, he's a very, you know, if you're winning, he's great to have. If you're losing, he's one of the most useless sort of supports to have. But yeah, I've heard of that interaction. Basically, kinetic field, as you approach the edge of the field, your movement speed goes to 0.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how it works. And it's really interesting to see how those mechanics work, because sometimes like Earth Spike puts people in the air, they aren't on the ground. You can actually use it to stack creeps in the neutral camp if you time it just right. It's very hard to do, but if you do it within like half a second, you can get that. So learning how mechanics work is important in Dota.
Yeah, Dota's got an entire third dimension, really. It can kind of grief Ancient Apparition, for example, because you can break Toss with Torrent and Toss. Or sorry, you can break Cold Feet, that is, the A ability with Torrent and Toss. on occasion.
Oh yeah, because like when you go up, it's like you're getting distance from the ridge.
You do gain distance, yeah. So same thing with Cookie. Sometimes you don't Cookie as far. As there's first blood very easily for Flea. You might even be able to get air in here as well. As Monster taking him down. The Fairy Fire. Man, even that Ring of Protection coming in handy there. That is going to be a double kill for Flea. 2 kills as well for Monster in the assist. That's going to be a super early earn. This lane's going to get really brutal.
I mean, the one thing you can say is at least the South gave half value to Viper, but that's really not much when Flea gets starts with a double kill. Lane though, at least Rises, they'll be able to get something for some of the 2 bases, like Rises.
Yep.
Going for more.
They might get Pingu, Whirling Death taken. He's next to a couple of trees, so we'll take damage. Afro has to toggle on over the tower aggro so it doesn't die. Monkey will return to lane. Yeah, not too bad, right? Marcy with the brown boots, rebound, dispose. Level 2 is a huge power spike. She can close the gap easily. And even easy kills there comes to someone like a Monkey King, who normally doesn't struggle too much against a Timbersaw.
Yeah, but at the same time, they also lost all their regen. Timbersaw's got no mana. Marcy basically has to wait for either the courier to bring her everything. Yeah, it's like, and Timbersaw's not exactly doing well in terms of last hits.
No, yeah, and he's also taken, because he's taken Whirling Death, he does not have actually points on the reactive armor, which means he can't really trade efficiently versus Ryzen, or really trade at all. That would be just simply losing for him, so we'll see here how much more control they can continue to wrestle away from this lane, but yeah, for now, Ryze is not enjoying this lane too much, especially with the Jingu bonus damage. Ryze will have some pretty easy denies under tower. Yeah, denied all 3 of those. That's pretty rough.
Yep. Oh god. Oh, top lane though. Looks like Monster's going to be in a little bit of trouble here, and this time he is going to fall. Marcy showing up, much needed. You know, it's like this lane. If it was going to go much longer that way, it was going to be absolutely miserable for the PA. So
yeah,
I like it.
Like an unorthodox kind of rotation for the 4 this early, TPing back to the top lane when your Timber is still suffering. Normally, Timber is one of these offlaners you can start to leave alone, usually around level 3 or 4. You can see Pingu doing a pretty good job of zoning it out all by himself, now that Marcy's shown top. But it was a well-timed rotation, right? Flea was going for the pull. Viper thought he could be a little bit cheeky and get in some quote-unquote free damage, and a nice rotation from Marcy is going to prove that's not the case. So, nice job here. Isn't going to really, I think, change too much, although they are going to go for another kill. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Snowball save here temporarily as Monster. The Ice Shards hopefully are good, but unfortunately they'd need nothing short of a miracle to save him here. Still, Aaron does tank the tower in addition to actually that tag team damage, but will make it out alive. So that's 2 kills there. Nice job abusing the early kill potential of a Marcy. Afro actually is going to look mid now potentially for a kill.
That might be a little bit harder for him to get. I do think Queen of Flames is probably going to be able to blink away unless the 8th tournament lands first, but beautiful adjustment by Simply 2 base. So they're like, alright, bottom lane, do we really need the Timbersaw? Does Timbersaw really need help? Probably not. Or if he does, it's like, well, Paradise, that's your job as an offlaner. So let him suffer. But top lane, that's what they really need. They need to get Nico to do well, and they're doing a good job with that. Still,
they might have tried for Fully Fleece. I'm not sure. He's preventing a stack, preventing a pull here. He's
got 17 magic stick charges.
Yeah. Could be in a bit of a dangerous spot. Monster is returning to the lane here. Just had to make the walk of shame as Flea doesn't really want to fight versus the hero that's got whatever 40% damage resist, so instead they're going to go for Imperium, but they are losing this fight. The dispose, so Afro on top of Monster. Flea trying to fight as well. The neutrals joining this skirmish as they at least get through Empyrean, but it seems like they've lost Monster a 3rd time, and now Flea, for the first time this match indeed. So this Marcy really starting to break apart this top lane.
Yeah, Simply 2 base, really doing well. And I'm not sure Disruptor is doing enough to sort of disrupt the Timbersaw bottom lane. Yeah, he's got 8 CS, but he's still doing kind of fine here. What? Do you believe it's worth it? They're putting the Disruptor all the way down here just to sort of slow down the Timbersaw. Although we say that, it might actually lose his life.
We might. There's the kinetic field up, and that might be a kill here. 2 points in reactive armor. Oh, apparently you can just leave kinetic field. Mid lane Sonic Wave is for Nico, as the Ice Shards are on point here to condemn Empyrean. He doesn't even have a single spell to throw. Well, now he does, actually. He's going to throw it towards Soul, but at least get rid of one of those. But what was actually the last infused raindrop charge. So at least Flea's able to get something done mid. As per your question for Pingu down bottom, not sure. Like, the thing is, with the Disruptor, like, you touched on it earlier, but this is a hero that you need to kind of have resources on to feel good, whether it's like a team net worth advantage or at least experience or gold on the hero. Usually experience is easier to come by. So, you know, he might not be able to do things in the top lane. I don't think Disruptor is all that, you know, good of a hero in a tri lane. Compared to like a Marcy, Viper, you know, maybe even PA. Yeah, there's the points in Glimpse, the first one there for for Pingu. Does get him a kill. I mean, he's got to get XP, is my thing with this hero. So at least he's getting XP down in the bottom lane. And finally there, a kill into the Timber.
Yeah, and this game in particular, Disruptor is pretty bad if you're behind, because all of the enemy heroes, like 4 of them, have this big ability to jump in. So you glimpse one back, it really does nothing. You know, you're just like, if I can glimpse one, at least that's something. But here's like PA jumps in, Void Spirit also has Astral Step, Timber Chain, Rebound, like all of them move very fast. So glimpsing one back is useless if they jump on you. And but catching them if you're ahead is also really good. So very interesting to see. I always love to see Disruptor on mid lane. Nico, nice. Probably gonna find.
Ought to be fine here with the bottle charges, Infuser, and drops 2 Astral Steps. Gonna be tough for Flea to make the jump there. Flea does break the smoke. Might lose his life as a result. The Frost Shields here. The blocks are pretty good. Flea pops the wand, charges, still has Snowball to play with as he turns back now towards Empyrean. Soul's going to be joining him. Aether Remnant going to be set up there to secure the kill onto Flea at the least, with Soul continuing to fight. Another dispose. Soul has the blink out though. He's really in no danger, so he's going to turn back for Aframoosh as Pingu is going to pick up Red 2. I guess maybe Red 2 is picking up Pingu. Glimpse back here is going to be stopped by the Dissemblate. Soul really working for this kill onto Aframoosh. He's going to go for the TP out and actually does make it out alive, but now that there's no supports top, Rises, who rotates over from the bottom lane, is going to be able to assist Monster in picking up a kill there out of the PA.
And Monster's only level, like, just reached level 5 in this lane. Although Timbersaw's also at level 5 in the Paradise, so they were going to go for him here. And it's like, oh my god, the 2 slowest heroes, basically, Timbersaw as well as Viper. You'll see what we can do. Timbersaw's taking a lot of damage, though.
Just hit 6. The Chakram does slow Flea a little bit. Timber chains to the other side there of the shards, but there's going to be Soul rotating on over. Scream of Pain there, and a quick kill onto the Timbersaw. Certainly both offlaners have been sufficiently cancelled this game. Rise is in a bit of a difficult lane, however, as he makes the rotation before Aaron does. Aaron quite keen to fight him as well, even under tier 1 it would appear. There's Pingu now rotating over. The Jingu Mastery going to not proc, or at least not fast enough to save Rises there. And the rotation from Pingu won't really change a thing there. That's just a kill onto Rises. It's a pretty big one because he TP'd into this lane.
Disruptor actually might be a little bit of trouble here. They kind of know that he's around. And Aframoosh, can he find him? He does. There he is. That could be another kill for them.
Yeah, especially with Red 2 nearby. They get another kill onto the Timbersaw down bottom in exchange as they look to enable Monster a bit more while continuing to shut down the Timber. We'll see if it's a difference maker. And that is Monkey King TPing right back in. He's not going to be able to get off the Jingu. He's going to just simply die a second time. It does set up for a 4-man Sonic Wave. Soul, however, all by himself now as Flea makes a long TP in. Cannot do anything to change the death there of his mid laner. Flea, I guess, used Walrus Punch down bottom or didn't have the mana for it after the TP, so he's going to go down. Alpha continuing to feed underneath the tier 1 tower, as that's an ultra kill for Red 2. A raffle from Empyrean in the all chat.
Wow.
So they only get the Marcy. Kill the Monkey King twice. The Timbersaw once bottom. That was pretty disastrous for Alpha.
I mean, Alpha has to be underestimating Simply 2 Base. Like, we know Simply 2 Base, yeah, they're 1-3. Alpha's gone undefeated, basically, but that was kind of disrespectful, the way they were able to just teleport one by one, assuming they're going to go do anything. Although Nico might be losing his life here.
No, maybe. Maybe it could be Soul here, who's disposed of the tower. Another bit of Dissemblate damage. The blink away in time. The mark damage here leaves Quap with 60, but she's still breathing. Okay for now.
And although Paradise basically is a support going to be in this game on the Timbersaw, and Marcy's the one who's doing really well after Mush, the other cores are pretty farmed. Oh no.
Yeah, Chain Frost there picks up the kill. Snowball in return, so some ice on ice crime, but the Walrus Punch there not going to club Lich as he's got himself safely covered with the Frost Shield. Yeah, and I don't know, man. That just seems like a super early rotation from Rises. I mean, Rises is back down bottom again. Monster's back top. I'm not sure who called for that rotation, because it felt like the Monkey King could have continued to just farm peacefully bottom until he got his until he got basically Battle Fury. Because he committed for Battle Fury build and he died twice top lane, he feels pretty far behind now, especially for a PA who's going for the exact same build. I believe PA has a little bit. No, I think they've got the same exact items, don't they? Full Orb of Corrosion on the Monkey. Sorry,
I was gonna say that's like the difference, which means that, you know, PA it's gonna be, they're both get at the same time, but it kind of feels like, not gonna say she wasted money, but that's like money that you bought to get fighting items. Monkey King doesn't really have that, so that's probably a big difference maker in the top lane. Nico here might be in trouble. Oh dear.
Ooh, they just catch him there in the Static Storm. They can't dispose them out because of the range. It's crap without Aether Lens. I think Afro did give it an effort. Empyrean in a bit of a rough spot. Does not have any spells here. He will tick down. And Flea might look for more as well. He wants to at least zone the Marcy out of the lane. He's got all his spells back up in a couple of seconds. At least plants the ward for his tier 1 tower dive. And resume pushing. Who got that kill? On Red 2. Pingu did. Pingu picks up a nice little bit of bounty as there's an ultra kill top for the Void Spirit. There's going to be another jump. They get another kill down bottom. That's just with Monster and Rises. And they dive the mid lane for Afronush. TP back in now from Red 2. Not sure what he could look to do all by himself. The Aether Remnant's good for Soul, but again, he's all by himself and can't really 1v3 here.
Playing without an offlaner is pretty tough for Simply 2 base, but at the same time, at least PA is farming pretty well and likely get that, the Battle Fury before the Monkey King. So that's nice. Like, you can at least look at that as a good spot for you.
Yep, should take the tower as well, which makes this rotation from Rises fine. Not bad by any means, but a bit awkward for him to try and, you know, get this tower as he'd like to at this stage of the game.
Monster might be in trouble. They smoke up for him. Looks like way too far. My bad.
They still might persist, especially with a Marcy with a Void Spirit. They could just go a diving, and there goes Afro kicking it off. Can't quite find the mark. 1v4 down bottom. Yeah, that's, oh, okay. Ooh. Maybe not. Pingu actually finds a pretty big Static Storm. The Chain Frost is even better. That'll eventually condemn monsters. Aaron also makes a jump on in. Sonic Wave, I believe, doesn't catch anyone but the Lich, as Rises is here to fight as well. Red 2 still has himself a couple of spells to use here, and Dissemblate back in another second. So he's going to pull down the Monkey King from the tree there with the Aether Remnant. Another Astral Step away. That's all of his spells. He is slowed quite a bit here, as they will snowball to give chase. Ice Shards here do catch him and isolate him from the rune, which Soul is going to pick up. Aaron, in the meantime, makes the jump onto Soul, who did blink for the rune. Finds a crit eventually, and there's the kill.
Beautiful stun by Afromush. Catching, he's just like, I can't catch the Queen of Pain, so I just catch Flea. Throws him at him, lands the stun there. Very nicely done. Sonic Wave didn't quite land on who they wanted on Empyrean. It was quite a dive for that kill, but it was worth it overall, I think, for Simply 2 base. And they're really, like, this is a very brawl-heavy game. We're, what, at 33 kills in 15 minutes? That's kind of insane. Especially for 2 cores going for Battle Fury.
2 cores a minute. Yeah, that's very true. They've both been incredibly active, haven't they? This PA, again, going Battle Fury, 5, 2, and 6, has the Battle Fury now online. Rise is not too far behind, actually. Again, the biggest difference in the net worth at this stage is going to be probably just that full Orb of Corrosion, which is a fairly expensive item. It's like 800 gold total or something. So that makes a bit of a difference. It's been put to good use by Aaron, who has fought already quite a bit with it. This Grandmaster tier PA.
Yeah, I just didn't think we'd be seeing him play so active, but it was kind of forced to. Like, when they brought the Trident top, they're like, this is the only way we can keep him, you know, let him survive the laning stage. It's worked out well. Then he's like, all right, well, I might as well, you know, leverage my net worth advantage to actually get kills in the map.
And Paradise has been, I mean, normally you talk about lots of kills early with the Timber Saw in the game, and you go, oh, Timber must be popping off. Quite the opposite. 1-4-0. It's been a really tough game for him.
He's been popped a few times.
Yeah, Flea's going to look to do it again. Yeah, they're going to commit the Static Storm here. Not like really much he can do. He's up to the max charges of reactive armor, but man, even that Hooded Defiance is not going to save him. Versus all the magic damage. It's a kill there. Buys a little bit of time. At least the rest of 2 base will be able to push down bottom and trade tower for tower. They're still up 1. As 2 base have already secured the off-lane tier 1 tower here for Alpha. And Alpha are now looking to set up here potentially for a mid-lane push, which might be our first big old fight of the game.
A couple of deep wards, probably Alpha planted, one behind the tower, one right next to it, so they should be able to sort of catch anyone who shows up, and that could make a big difference, especially with Disruptor. You know, when you have vision for Disruptor is just absolutely crucial.
Static Storm for a while. Of course, Flea's got all of his spells, so Red 2 can play a bit more aggressively here. So he does clear the way. They just park Monster up front, as Afro is going to be sent in. Walrus Punch. Frost Shield here does dodge a lot of the damage early as Soul begins to bump in the right click. Chain Frost doesn't get a bunch of bounces as Sonic Wave will catch 4 heroes for the second time this match. Aaron is going to step on back out of this fight. Disengaged. It's a 2 for 2. Slight advantage there for TOOBASED, who just lose both of their supports compared to the off-lane and position 4 of Alpha, who will go ahead and back away from this push for now anyway.
And they managed to keep their tower alive. Plus, Sonic Wave is like a big commitment for them, you know? It's like, well, that's your best spell, your best team fight spell at the moment. It's going to be down for another minute and a half, so... You know, every time Campaign uses it and doesn't give them that much of an advantage,
wow. Yeah, they just get that kill easy. That is between Flea and Pingu, essentially. The support's picking off the mid laner, Avoid Spirit of all things. You know, having Static Storm is kind of the ultimate, you know, kill method against one of these heroes, but certainly didn't really expect that to happen. Must have started with a Flea snowball in.
And also, he was able to glimpse back and peer in, which is nice, and they're going a bit of a dive for Flea here. Should be okay though. Yeah, being able to send someone as support back, or even a court just back to the fountain is like, you know, the ultimate screw you. You know, just go back. I don't want to fight with you.
Bingo. No be punished for that. And actually, the dispose there with Aether Lens is going to be for Flea. Empyrean pulls it back a bit. Soul acting as a buffer space here though, even to Paradise, who is not confident in his ability to fight, but with the Fortify here, that buys enough time for Nico. Oh, to TP in. Who's got Dissemblate to avoid that little glimpse, of course.
In the meantime, though, by the way, I like how Tusk is playing. Flea. He's got going for the infused raindrop. He's just very tanky, you know, with the with magic wand, with the face with infused raindrops. Like he's got a bit of physical resistance, and the fused raindrop just does really well against the TOOBASED, where the magic damage is not exactly consistent. You know, it comes out in bursts from the Void Spirit, from like the Marcy, the Lich. So it's nice. It's keeping him alive in these fights.
Yeah, and the net worth difference between the two cores, between the Monkey and PA, has been relatively even. It's been kind of 400, 500, 600 gold, basically out of the laning stage. But it looks like Aaron is going to have a lead towards the BKB, with all the heroes of TOOBASED missing off the map. Monkey is not farming right now. Puts him in a bit of an awkward spot, as I believe his courier has scouted in there. Maybe the creeps seeing that.
Yeah, it's very close. I mean, less than 1k advantage for simply TOOBASED 20 minutes into the game, and the question now becomes late game. Can Aaron actually like carry them? Even with BKB, you are up against what? Walrus Punch, although Imperium might be losing his life here.
Yep, the glimpse is there, and pretty easy kill onto Imperium.
I thought your mic could stop for a second, but yeah, you are up against like what, 3 abilities that go through BKB, so it's not like as big of a game changer for Aaron as it is for the Monkey King, whereas like there's nothing from Simply TOOBASED that goes through it.
It's true. Does kind of cancel the Disruptor, which is fairly nice at least. Making sure that Static Storm, Glimpse, all that good stuff you can kind of just ignore. We're getting a bit of the tools. Alpha did get the tower more or less for free against TOOBASED. Again, it did delay Monkey's BKB because no one was showing for TOOBASED on the map. Rises still doesn't quite have that up, while the PA, I believe, is already showing hers off near the mid lane. Eager to look for a fight, and Flea is going to be the target. Disposed to Aether Remnants. Good control there, as Empyrean had Sinister Gaze as a follow-up should they have needed it.
And looks like Viper finishes up the Spirit Vessel, which is a little bit less useful now that the PA has the BKB, which means that, you know, you can just put it off. You don't want to use it just for that, of course, but would have been a nice thing to have before the PA BKB. And you can see some TOOBASED, they're like, yeah, let's go for objectives now. I wonder if they're going to go for Roche. They are pinging it out, and they do have decent minus armor and physical damage as well.
With the Courier of Monkey King Scout, it had the recipe on it, at least after it delivered. That to rise, so a fight here could potentially come from Alpha. Monkey King here in a decent position. Will be picked up by the ward, however, as Roche is falling. Aaron with BKB, however, and not Deso. Doesn't really take this too quickly, as Empyrean's going to be the first jump, and he's killed off quite quickly. Without the Frost Shield, that's a big difference maker. Monster, though, soaking up the damage, and he's going to spit onto Aaron. Pops the BKB, of course, does not dispel that venomous, the poison strike from the Viper. As Paradise is picked off, at least in the Static Storm. That was BKB for Aaron, though, to evade that. As TOOBASED will smoke up. Buyback from Empyrean. He just needs to find a Chain Frost here. Has himself the Glimmer Cape to get into the fight as well. If needed, there's Vision, courtesy of Afromoose. Chain Frost on the way in, bouncing around here onto the two backline supports. Pingu is going to die, as is Afromoose, though, as Rises pops the ulti and the BKB, capable of fighting. Aaron wants to fight into this ulti as well, as he's going to find the crit onto Flea, but the Monkey and Quap proved to be a little bit too elusive. Both booted away from the fight, though. Aaron not sure if he can take this. Quap basically full HP. Monkey King not so much, but seems like TOOBASED are not going to force the Roche for now.
There is a double damage ruin on the PA, so for the next 2 minutes, Simply TOOBASED can go for Roshan, well, twice as fast compared to before. And yeah, going up against Wukong, against Sonic Wave, they are down now, so I do think that Simply TOOBASED, they want to go for Roshan. The next like 30 seconds is probably their best opening.
Wukong's going to be back here in another minute. BKB soon. Aaron's going to have the security of BKB in about 20 seconds. Maybe even a Basher. Yes, indeed. I think he's got enough money for the Basher. Yeah, he's quite get it there on the first try, but clears the Ancient Stack. Now he's got it. That's going to be another big item here, especially through the BKB of Rises, who is not going to have a Basher here in the same amount of time as a PA. Instead, has queued up the Ag Scepter.
Well, I like that. You know, more damage is always good. Meanwhile, though, looking in terms of items here, what does the Timbersaw have? Timbersaw still trying to build the BKB. He is about 1,400 gold for it, but in the meantime, Simply2Base, they are setting up next to the Roche pit. Needs to be careful. Wukong is up in 10 seconds, Sonic Wave in 20. So this is, it's a very tight window that they have.
Yeah, DD run as well is going to be not immediately put to use, courtesy of the Bash from Roche. Aaron still evading a lot of attacks, though. Finds a Bash onto the big man himself, as they do kick off this fight onto Nico. They don't, however, catch him inside the kinetic field as they get through Pingu straight away. Monster now finds himself in a bit of an awkward spot. So all he can do is really get off the poison attacks versus Aaron before he goes. Rises BKBs, pops the ulti, looking to avoid as much damage as he can. Another big Sonic Wave, but Aaron pops the BKB and deletes this Monkey King. They jump now onto Flea. Good dispose here. Might be able to set up for the kill, as Aaron instead jumps onto Soul. Soul still gets the blink away in time, as finally Aaron will jump back towards Flea to finish him off. Triple kill for him, as they only lose Red 2 at the start of the fight.
Holy crap! I simply basically, what Aaron did, he just went like, alright, we'll just get Roche, then we'll join the fight. And he is buffed up by Sidekick a lot. Like, we haven't mentioned this combination, but 65 extra damage from Sidekick, you get 60% damage reduction, physical damage from the list. Like, he's got really good supports to enable him on the PA. He's well farmed, and the Basher proving to do a lot of work. Just now he was able to almost get Soul. He bashed him just as he bought the blink. It wasn't enough to get the kill. Still, it has been making a big difference for these fights. So Simply TOOBASED, I don't know, is it like the draft didn't seem so great? The team has been doing pretty poorly this turn, and suddenly they come in and they're defeating Alpha, and is this mind-boggling to you as well, or am I don't shocked by this?
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, you've highlighted the reasons why it makes sense, right? I mean, I'm surprised that it is a Sidekick being maxed last, given how good Rebound is, though. It doesn't really, I guess you need your other skills maxed first, but yeah, Rebound is very good in this lane. As Flea's going to throw up a ward and pretend like he totally didn't ward here, but Afro's onto him. Yeah, as a quick D-ward, it feels bad. But yeah, I mean, you highlighted the reasons. They certainly, I mean, this is a comfort draft to be certain for TOOBASED. It's a lot of heroes that they like to play with the Pango band out. Paradise is a Timber player as well. He's just been honestly having a really rough game. That might change now that he's got BKB at least coming towards him now.
But yeah, to be fair, we didn't say Paradise was going to suffer anyway, right? It's like he's up against the Viper. Your language was going to didn't go so well. So it's like we knew that Paradise was going to suffer, and he has, like, he's barely ahead of Monster. But it's Aaron. Aaron's just doing so much work for them this game. This carry PA, you don't think of it as an active hero, but he's been very active that whole game with the Battle.
Yep. That break, though, still problematic for him, of course, with two passives. One of them being your ulti. It's not going to be too fun. But we'll get to work here very quickly on the tier 3 tower. A little snowball forward. Didn't get the Phantom Strike back as Flea is going to go ahead and blink away. Oh, fan and knives here. Aaron might have gone a little bit too far. That could very well be his first light, but look how tanky he is there. Aether Lens on the dispose gets him very, very far away from the enemies. And it seems like he'll probably just get a tag team. No, sorry, he'll get a sidekick to heal back to full. They might make another push. Rises finally has got his item, though. It's Acceptor. We'll see what he can start doing. He's been having a little bit of a lackluster game on the Monkey King, to be sure, especially when compared to the PA.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 4, 4, and 5. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not what Aaron's been doing on Phantom Assassin, like you said. And he's kind of in the top lane, trying to push out the lane, which is nice. Someone's going to have to go back and defend him, but it seems like Simply TOOBASED is very committed for this bot lane push, so unless he equally commits to top lane, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, good job putting down the break, making sure PA can't crit on those daggers. His Flea from the side yet again before the Frost Shield is applied. Back to half HP there for Aaron. Very effective harass. That won't stop him from hitting barracks, though, and probably won't stop him even from taking barracks. Monkey, with his own Acceptor, can push or threaten to push, but doesn't dare step on the high ground and figure out what waits for him in the shadows. As Aaron will be pulled back again. Quick little glimpse. Phantom Strike, he's okay. That's just bottom barracks taking patience from Alpha, who choose not to engage here into the first Aegis, and lose the barracks as a result.
Yeah, but it's better to lose the barracks than lose the game. I mean, their buyback status, I don't think they have anyone who has got buybacks on Alpha's side. So they're like, you know what, let's just give them what they want. It's a minute for the Aegis. It sucks that we have to do this, but it's better to give a couple of Raxes than to give them the whole game. So I like what Alpha's doing. They realize we're not in fighting shape quite yet, especially against this crazy PA.
Crazy indeed. BKB up for Soul, like you said, at the cost of no buyback. BKB and Ags now for the Monkey King, who may need an MKB at some stage. You know, he needs to dip into the lore, steal his staff from the... What is it? Who does he steal it from? He steals it from like some sea monster, I believe. In this game, of course, he's going to buy from the shopkeeper. It's been a while since I've read up on my Sun Wukong lore.
There's a new game, like a new Sun Wukong game in China that's supposed to be pretty good. Anyway,
top lane though. He's dead. Don't even need to use the Walrus Strike. We'll save that instead there for Aaron. His Aegis does expire here. Rises though, BKB up, not really taking a lot of damage. Instead, Flea is going to have to soak up there the Chain Frost. He's taking a bit of damage in return as the Monkey Silence caught there by Rises. Aaron trying to crit him down, and eventually he's going to find the damage assisted by Nico. It's a very good, however, Static Storm in exchange. That is going to be Aaron dead. Pingo here, the mark damage is not going to be enough to kill him off, but it's the 8th Remnant from Nico which kills him. Still, though, the fight is a good one from Alpha. Nico gets a double kill, still will drop towards the end of that thanks to Soul, and it's only Paradise who survives. The grace of his own BKB, but heavy loss there for TOOBASED as they get a fight picked with them. It's right at the timing of that Aegis expiring.
Yeah, a bit ironic that Paradise is the one who lives, considering how the game has gone for him, but yeah, that is not exactly what TOOBASED wanted. Losing Aaron, for them, Aaron is the everything. For anytime he dies, it's pretty terrible. And yeah, they got Rises, but it doesn't feel like as big a deal. You can also see that the Queen of Pain, he's doing a pretty good job of keeping up with net worth, Soul's becoming more and more important, whereas Nico, he's got the Aghanim Scepter, but I haven't really felt his impact quite as much as the Queen of Pain. Like, that Sonic Wave was pretty baller.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to when you're constantly getting these big Sonic waves. I think even this one was pretty clutch. Soul does a solid team fight there. Crisis does die, but he at least stands inside his ulti the longest he can. That's pretty effective there at zoning out reinforcements coming from TOOBASED. And also Red 2 kind of forces himself to one side. Yeah, Acceptor, sorry, Yule's, yeah, it is Acceptor. And also Yule's Scepter, which I feel like you usually see one or the other on the Void Spirit. It's kind of curious to see the both.
I understand what you mean, but I guess he needs the Yule Scepter to have another way of dodging the Disruptor Glimpse. It's like, I can't just use the Simulant every time. If I use it and it's gone, you know, like, I can't just always throw it out. So I like it. I imagine he's going to go for a BKB at some point, though, because he definitely needs it. It's big smoke by Simply TOOBASED. They don't have vision of this area, though.
No, they don't. Alpha fighting underneath their wards. The fight starts here on a better foot for Simply TOOBASED as Flea jumps into his own death. Paradise BKBs on top, as well as Aaron as they both jump. Rises. He's going to try and get the ulti up there. He uses the Abyssal Blade of Aaron and is killed off. Flea buys back here. Not really sure what he's going to be able to do here at this stage as TOOBASED will lose the fight underneath their own high ground ward. Very efficient kills there by TOOBASED, who simply used BKB to stop the static storm.
Dude, the bash on Monkey King just as he was winding up the ultimate. This is turning very uncomfortable for him. And I mean, Aaron's like basher to Abyss has just been absolutely insane. I can't praise simply TOOBASED enough for the way they came to play today. Aaron, they banned his Juggernaut, they banned his Dawnbreaker, but turns out PA was like his best hero all along.
Yeah. Felt a little bit of bonus damage up to the high ground there. He's gone for this Blur Evasion, and again, no MKB yet for the Monkey King. I guess they've just been relying on another Toxin break here to be able to find these kills, and that certainly was not going to cut it in that previous fight. It's not Megas at least, and actually Soul is even hitting tier 3s here. Does get the blink out before Disposed can end his life. Cannot rebound off of enemy units, so Afro cannot catch the squap.
Even has a Dragon Scale on the Queen of Pain just for that little bit of extra damage on the tower, you know, it adds up to like 54 per hit, which is nice. But in Disruptor, by the way, he's actually going for the blast. He has a Buckler just to give them a bit of that armor. They all are itemizing to go up against his ult here. In theory, he's going to lose his life, but it's not a big problem for them.
So he gets the D ward here. Letting him be the ward. They will buy back. Oh, Almost Shark is going to be way off the mark there. Aaron jumps to second mark. Now it's a dieback for Flea. They're going to try and fight into this one, though. Aaron taking a lot of damage now inside the Wukong's command. Does get out as Soul blinks forward here. Aaron without BKB in a bit of a rough spot. Still has Abyssal, but the Disposed gets him out of a tough spot there. Soul BKB at least turns back for Nico as Pingu is going to end up dying to the mark damage. And Aaron back in for his second fight onto the Monkey King. This time no BKB to protect him. Will take him down. Flea's going to throw in the towel, and it's Alpha who will lose game 1 here to TOOBASED.
And again, that Disposed by Afro was absolutely vital, keeping him alive. That's basically why they won the fight. He was definitely going to kill Aaron if he didn't do that. So, simply TOOBASED, they must have had a really good breakfast, you know? Like, we know it's midnight here, but over there it's still morning, and they just played super well. Props to Aaron. Like, everything